Hi everybody, it's been a while since I came on this channel, and today I'm having a very powerful time and I wanted to share about that. I've talked in the past about narcissists, and this is something in my healing that is just kind of unraveling over time, is learning how to recover. It took me a really long time to realize that I was in a relationship with a narcissist, that I was also working alongside a narcissist, and what that entails is something that's constantly unraveling over time, because there's a lot of manipulation involved, and this is something that I want to speak on today because I just had a moment a little while ago going through the grocery store and I realized, well, I'm just thinking about a lot of this kind of stuff today and I'll get to that in a bit, but I realized that my ex, who I also worked with professionally, often made it seem like he was a trustworthy person, that he had my back, and yet he always violated me and always crossed boundaries, and yet always would say things like, you know I love you, or you know that I support you, or I did this, this, and this for you. And he would use that as an excuse, really, to excuse his behavior for crossing multiple boundaries on a regular basis. And since I loved him at the time and was really caught up in the things he was saying, I allowed this cycle to continue to happen. And I feel like this is something that happens in a lot of abusive situations. And obviously, if you have never been through any kind of abusive relationship, then it's hard for someone to understand why the victim wouldn't just leave the situation, because it can be quite clear from the outside, from someone else's perspective who is not in the shoes of someone who's going through mental manipulation, emotional manipulation, sometimes physical manipulation, why they would not just leave. And it's just really so much more complex than that. And anyways, it's been about a year since I've had contact with my narcissistic ex, and I plan to keep it that way. My life has been a lot better since I fully cut contact, and something I also want to really stress in my healing journey through this is the importance of cutting all contact with a narcissist, because, and like I said, it takes the time to realize that you're even dealing with a narcissist sometimes, because it took me a long time, and it really wasn't until about a year ago, after I had physically distanced myself, that I started to research narcissism and narcissistic abuse, and I put two and two together and realized this is exactly what I've been going through for the past 3 years of my life. So with that being said, there was always a door open for him to contact me, and that kept me stuck in this loop for a very, very long time. There were times when we blocked each other on social media. There were times when we had no contact. However, we would always eventually unblock each other, or he would always have access to my phone number, or he would always have access to my email. So even if he was blocked in certain ways, there was always a door open or a window open of opportunity for him to contact me again. And this went on for years. And there was probably times when I reached out to him, and there was probably times when he reached out to me, and we broke our silence. And essentially we would always keep just repeating the same cycle over and over and over again. So the best decision that I have ever made was fully cutting all contact, blocking everything, deleting everything, blocking and deleting his email, blocking and deleting his phone number, blocking and deleting him on social media. Every possible form that I could find to get a hold of him had to be cut, and I had to make a decision and a promise to myself to never, ever reach out and make contact again, because I just got to the point where I realized that he's not well. He's not making any effort to get better or work on himself in a genuine capacity, in a genuine way. He's someone, I think, as many narcissists, he's someone that likes to act like he has healed a lot of his wounds, and really he's just all talk. So again, that along with the boundary violation and saying that he was supportive and loving, and his actions were two completely different things. And I just really wanted to bring that to light today and share that with hopes of helping someone else out there. So a year has gone by. I've met some very significant people in my life within this year of fully letting him go and learning to move forward. It's come with a lot of grief, a lot of pain, a lot of trauma triggers. I've had to really do a lot of inner reflection and a lot of healing that I've had to seek from professional counsel and spiritual counsel, which has been very helpful. I think it's very important to have support, because you already feel so alone when you are going through an abusive situation or a narcissistic abuse situation. And also this pandemic has brought up a lot of those triggers for me as well, because isolation is no stranger to me. I have had moments in my life, particularly when I was with this ex, when I was just as removed from society, my friends, my family, as I am during this global pandemic. And that's pretty freaking scary to think about and to feel. I've had to feel a lot of those old familiar sensations of isolation, disconnection. And that's really hard on the psyche. We are built as human beings to connect with each other and to love each other and support each other. And obviously there's a lot of corrupt things that happen on this planet as well. But finding genuine connection, whether that be through friends or family or a spouse, no matter who it is, it's so important that we have healthy dynamics in our life and a healthy relationship that we keep on working on with ourselves. So as I said, I have met a lot of significant people in my life, even through a pandemic and slightly before the pandemic started, that I have been very fortunate to build myself a new foundation in a new city. And I feel very much supported. And today I'm having this big revelation, because I just am reaching another layer of healing from this narcissistic abuse situation. And it's powerful stuff. And I've done a lot of inner work, but I think sometimes you get to a point in your healing journey when healing happens alongside other people, and I think that's a really beautiful thing. So I wanted to kind of share about that and end on a positive note today, because I'm someone who, well, I'm very open and honest about my struggles on social media and as an artist and to the public. I'm very open and transparent because I think it's important to talk about the things that we struggle with, the things that we work to overcome, because I think that it gives us a sense of unity. It gives us a sense of not being alone. It gives us a sense that someone understands us, and hope that if someone else could get through it, that you can too. And I have gotten through a lot of rough patches in my life because of the people who share vulnerably, so I try my best to show up as that person as well. And I was just so blown away today by someone in my close circle and by myself. Just really proud of myself today for having a vulnerable conversation that was difficult to have, but there was a past experience, or a couple past experiences really, that I felt that I wanted to share with this trusted person in my life today. And I did so really for the first time with this person, and it really felt empowering to me to be dealing with somebody who listened to me, didn't judge me about what I was bringing to the table, respected me, didn't question my traumatic experience or my painful experience or what have you. They listened, and respected my boundaries. And this person I care for very deeply, and it is someone that I'm building a lot of trust and intimacy with. And it was really cool today to have a moment where really I just felt like I could be in my power and use my voice without being scolded or without being wronged for it or without being questioned about it. And it felt really good. And it took me a long time to get to that place because I usually hate having those kinds of vulnerable conversations. I don't like one-on-one confrontation. It's always something that's given me a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear. And it's just an uncomfortable feeling. But I'm really proud of myself today for saying everything that was on my heart and on my mind. And I'm able to really compare now, like what a healthy dynamic and friendship looks like compared to a really unhealthy one. Because sometimes you just start to see it and it's mirrored to you. And it's a really beautiful thing when you can recognize the difference. Because the small things that really should always be a baseline of respect, and these things should be non-negotiable, they almost feel like huge things. They do feel like huge things to me now because I've been in such twisted situations that really messed with my sense of self-worth, confidence, even my own sanity, because when you deal with manipulative people and narcissists, that's how they make you feel. And they make you really question yourself and your reality. And there's a lot of gaslighting that happens. So, when I'm dealing with respectful people, and not just in this situation today, but in general, I'm just seeing that the people that I'm surrounded with right now give me the space, the safe space to speak when I express that I have something that I need to say that's very important to me. They respect that. And open communication is super important. And it's a two-way street. It's always about the give and take, and communication works both ways. And it's not only about me expressing myself, obviously. But to find myself in situations and in relationships now where this is the baseline shows me that I've healed and I've grown so much, because it's so much more healthy and balanced. And I just wanted to share about that as well today. And if I can leave you with anything, I would just say, pay attention to the boundaries that you're setting in your life. Are you setting boundaries in your life? Where do you need to set new boundaries in your life? And are the people that you're closest to respecting those boundaries? And if not, how can you improve on that? And how can you improve your communication about what your boundaries are? And sometimes you need to create space between yourself and other people's if your boundaries aren't being respected. Because in my case, I did that with my ex, and that's been the best thing that I could have, it's really been the best thing in my life that I think I've done for myself. And it helps me to rebuild my confidence and my life. So pay attention to boundaries. And it's important to remember to not take boundaries to mean it's not a bad thing to set boundaries. It's not a bad thing if someone else has boundaries, and it's important to not take it personally, because a lot of times, sometimes it is personal, but a lot of times it's not. Sometimes the boundaries that I have to set for myself now, even in a professional sense, exist because of my past experience. And it's not necessarily because I meet someone I want to work with and that they're terrible. My boundaries are for me and for my safety and my comfort, and it's a very personal thing. Boundaries are a very personal thing, but it's important to speak about them, especially with the intimate people that are in your life that you trust. And if anyone really loves and trusts and respects you and values you, they will try their best to respect your boundaries. And that's not to say that it's always going to be perfect or easy for them. sometimes mistakes happen, obviously, we're human beings, and sometimes lines get blurred or crossed or feelings can be hurt. And you have to just kind of work at it and communicate and try to, be clear about what your boundaries are. And if something gets violated or feels triggering, that you have open communication about it, because that's really the only way that we can show up for one another, is to have a greater understanding of what helps another person and what hinders or hurts another person that we care about, and how can we help and be of service, and how can we also get in tune with like what is helpful for me, what helps me feel safe, and what makes me feel hurt, and where are my triggers, and self-awareness is really the key. So I hope this was helpful to someone today. I wasn't planning on doing a video, I just kind of wanted to do a free flow of talking and share a little bit about, my recovery from being in a very toxic situation with a narcissist. So I hope everyone is keeping well. These are still really crazy, strange times that we're in. And I would just leave it at this, try your best to love and support yourself, and surround yourself with people who love and support you.